Okay, hello, this is John Burroughs again, and I'm going to continue with my autobiography, 7 Years to Life. This is going to be chapter 18, and it's called Those Oldies But Goodies. The summer had just begun in 1961 when my mother told my brother and I that we would be moving to California. This was devastating to us because of the friends we would be losing. It also caused us great concern because the excitement and wonder of the concrete jungle would be lost to us forever. New York City was definitely something we wanted to experience as teenagers. Our devastation turned to resentment and then eventually anger. We were moving to California because our father had received a better opportunity there. We really didn't give a shit because we barely saw the fucker anyway. So we just so we unjustly blamed him for the animosity we were feeling. I think he was just trying to make a better life for all of us. It did not mean we were going to get to know him any better. It just meant we would be strangers in a strange land. I was so depressed and bitter that I just completely withdrew, hardly spoke, and rarely went outside. My mom, seeing and sensing my condition, suggested that we have a going away party. I have to admit this excited me greatly. We planned the party the weekend before we were scheduled to leave for California. The week preceding the party, I brought my record player out to the living room with all my favorite 45s. I was looking forward to having most of my friends all together in our house. I invited everyone that I could think of, and I also sent a letter to Lena from Princess Bay, but it came back. As Elvis would say, return to sender. Nonetheless, the party was a success, even though there was an overwhelming sense of melancholy that pierced my thoughts. I was surprised to see that not only some of my choir members came, but was honored that some of the older guys that allowed me to sing with them on the corners were also there. The party was like any other party, where the majority of attendees were between the ages of 10 and 12. The boys stood on one side of the room and girls on the other side. Much to my amazement, I worked up the courage to stride across the room and asked Ellen to dance. She said yes, and we started dancing, and that seemed to provide the impetus for the other guys to start asking for a dance. I had 45 stacked on the record machine, and the first song to play was At the Hop by Danny and the Juniors. This was a great up-tempo song, and everyone was hopping around enthusiastically to its beat. The next song that dropped was You Belong to Me, which was meant for slow dancing. You could see all the kids freeze like deers in the headlights, not knowing what in the hell to do next. I guess because it was our going away party, Ellen worked up the nerve to put her hand in mine and rest the other hand on my shoulder, which instinctively prompted me to put my free hand on the back of her waist. And though there was a good 3 feet between us, and we did not look at each other, we had our first slow dance. This prompted another few brave couples to do the same thing. As I looked around the room, I noticed the adults watching us with a plethora of emotions. In fact, I think I noticed tears streaming down the cheeks of a few of the moms. As it was getting close to the time for the party to end, one of my friends, who was also a singer, asked me if I knew the words to those oldies but goodies. I told him that I had the record and knew most of the words of the song, and that I would go ahead and play it. He said he had a better idea, and he thought it would be a great way to end the party if a few of us guys sang the song a cappella. So that is what we did, and forgive my ego, but I thought we sounded pretty terrific. As the party ended and people started to leave, I went out in the hallway to wish goodbye, and yes, I was crying. Ellen, from 7 Minutes to Heaven, was the last to leave, and I think that was intentional. We lived on the second floor, and just before turning around to go down the stairs, Ellen turned to give me a kiss on the lips. It made me feel strange, though not in a sexual way, but more of the type of kiss that conveys to a good friend how much you are going to miss them. At least that's what it felt like to me, since passing puberty was still yet to come. New York is a place that leaves an indelible impression that lasts a lifetime, even if you had only spent a few short years there. There is something so challenging about the opportunities and pitfalls that the city of 8 million people can throw at you that often makes me wonder what would have happened had I stayed. I took my family back to New York in my old haunts roughly 6 or 7 years ago, and that will be covered in another story. The reason I bring it up now is because the trip instilled in me a feeling that, at least for now, it is impossible to describe, though I will say when I hear Frank Sinatra sing New York, New York, or Billy Joel sing New York State of Mind, and Alicia Keys' fabulous chorus in her rendition, I do understand what they are singing about.